Hello, crafty friends. My name is Jessica, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I have a card for you using a 2023 STAMPtember collab with Simon Says Stamp and Clearly Besotted. Now, this stamp set is sold out. It was a limited edition for STAMPtember, but Clearly Besotted has a ton of these cute little images, so you can find a link below on one that I found that was very similar. We're going to be using some distressed ink and some distressed oxide ink for this card. I got the inspiration while looking at Pinterest. I found the most beautiful autumn scene from Stephanie Lowe on the Possum Stamp blog, and I'll have that link below as well for my inspiration. But I just loved the color combo. So I started off with that speckled egg, kind of for the sky color, and then came in with the Oxide inks, aged mahogany, and then crackling campfire. I just absolutely love this color combo for fall. I'm using my new waffle flower grip mat to hold this piece of paper down while I blend on top of it. And honestly, I'm loving this grip mat. I'm still playing with it, but so far I'm really happy with the results. So I am a over blender probably, and I really want to make sure that I have that seamless color blend. So you can see that I'm going over it a couple times just until I'm happy with the results. Like I said, I am a little bit of an over blender. If you do not have the pleasure of experiencing Brutus Monroe Squeaky Clean, you need to. It comes in the most beautiful scents, and that was pumpkin donut, and it smells like a bakery whenever I clean up using it. You can use it on your mats, your grip mats, and your stencil mats, as well as your stamps to help clean them before your next application. I highly recommend it. I went ahead and used Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink, as this is a alcohol favorable ink, and stamped this cute adorable little kitty cat image and made sure that I got a nice crisp line when I did. I then went and heat set it because I wanted to get right into coloring, and sometimes if you don't heat set or let the ink dry, you'll get smearing when you use your Copic markers. And so I just went ahead and heated it up in order to avoid that. Now, I am a very simple alcohol marker colorer. Like, I do not do more than 2 to 3 color combos. So for the cat, I did use 2 and just made sure to go over it a couple times to get that nice little blend between the two of them. And then for the stem, I did the same thing. 2 colors, don't make it crazy. And now I'm doing 2 colors for this flower. Sometimes I do 3, but for the most part, if I can stick to 2, that's what I'm going to do. Now, these are Ohuhu markers. They are very budget friendly. And with them being budget friendly, you don't get the nice gradient that you would probably get with Copic markers. But these markers are good enough for me and the amount of coloring that I do. If you really enjoyed coloring and that was something that you found yourself doing on multiple cards, multiple times, every time you color, then I would highly recommend paying out a little bit more money for Copic markers because it's something that you enjoy and it's going to give you the better results. These Ohuhu markers are sufficient for the amount of coloring that I do. Now, I did fussy cut those out. I enjoy fussy cutting. There's not many of us out there, but I do know that there are a few of us, and I quite enjoy it. I am just adding a couple highlights to the images. I do notice that my highlights are not crisp white on certain colors, and I probably should have dried this little image out before I did the highlight on the cat. The orange is kind of tainting that white gel pen. That was me just doing a test run to see how I liked the little image on the background. I did. I felt like the background needed a little bit more interest though, so I did pull out some water and create some ink splotches. Distress Oxide ink in both the Oxide and the regular Distress line is water reactive, and so you get those wonderful little water marks if you splash it. Now that went a little fast, but I did spritz it with some shimmer spray just for another added dimension, and then went ahead and heat set this panel until it was completely dry. I like to test run my embossing powder before I add it, and so that was me. You saw me like sprinkle the embossing powder on just to see that it was dry before I went ahead and stamped it. I really wanted this background to shine, so I kept the sentiment really simple with just a white embossing powder. Oh, here you'll see I was recording this video when my children were around. And so there's a couple little incomings from my sweet little girl. But back to the card, I did want to keep the sentiment simple because I really wanted that background color to really shine. It's what caught my attention on Pinterest, and so I really wanted to make sure it was the focal point. Now, I'm also an over adhesor. My number one fear in card making probably is sending out a card and having it collapse in the mail. So I use way more foam tape than most people, but like I said, I want to be sure that it's not going to collapse during transit in the mail because sometimes the mail is not nice to our cards. And so I like to overcompensate because of that. Now this is just me fiddling, making sure I'm happy with where the little image is. Because I did use foam tape on the background panel, we are going to go ahead and use liquid glue for the little cat so that we don't have a lot of dimension for this card. And then of course, I need to finish it off with some sparkle. So I added a couple little confetti sequins from Trinity Stamps. And voila, the card is done. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Again, this is a STAMPtember collab. I wanted to use it because my STAMPtember collabs usually sit and don't get used. And I thought this was a perfect opportunity to highlight the adorable little cute cat from Clearly Besotted. And like I said, I will include a link below that has a very similar image within their current line. Please feel free to subscribe, ring the bell, all the YouTubey things, and I appreciate you being here today.